Hey friends, this is going to be a video about how to stretch your hands and wrists. Okay, so do it with me. This is going to start with spreading and clenching. Spreading and clenching your hands. Spread and clench. Just want to get some of the tissues moving. Now we're going to do a specific exercise, taking the thumb to the fingertips. The thumb to the fingertips. Once you know what it is, you don't have to watch me, you can watch your own hands. Thumb to index finger, thumb to middle finger, slowly, specifically, and always opening the thumb out. Let's do it a third time. Thumb to index, to middle, to ring, to little. Now I'm going to do my thumb to the base of my little finger, and then open out, and then to the base of the ring finger, base of the middle, base of the index. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time, base of the little finger, the index, the ring finger, the middle finger, and then the pointer finger. Shake it out, spread them out. We're going to now do some side bends, so you can brace your hand and just bring your hand flat to the wrist, to the thumb side, and then to the little finger side, alternating one side and to the other side as far as you can. So we're stretching all of this tissue along the outside of the thumb. Then we're going to do what's called a wrist, I think this would be wrist extension, and then wrist flexion. So down and up as much as you can. Now we're going to take that same hand and circle it around so it goes through all of those 4 positions. Go the other way, and I'm purposefully holding my lower forearm so that I'm not twisting the arm bones from the elbow. This movement is from the elbow. I'm just wanting to move it from the wrist. Go each direction, and you want to create a little bit of tension, almost like you're moving through wet cement. So inner resistance, like an isometric. Okay, let's shake that hand out. If it hurts to shake your hand, if it hurts that thumb joint, you can hold your thumb in as you shake your hand. Let's do the other side. We started with the side bend, so with it flat, going in and out, in and out. And then extension and flexion, going in, so I'm going down as far as I can and up as far as I can. And then the circles, this articulation of all the 26 bones of the wrist. Go the other way. And it's normal to feel a little bit of crunchiness and clunkiness in there. Spreading and opening, really using the reach of the fingers to help you stretch. The next I'm going to call a gooseneck. You can do it on both hands. So I've got this little gooseneck, and then I'm going to come out and spread and reach the heel of my hand. So I'm pulling back, so my wrist comes towards my shoulder, so I'm getting full flexion at the elbow, and then spreading out. So just coming in and open. In, open, a few more times. In and open. Fist curls. Make a fist and then pull the back of the wrist in, like you're trying to touch this part of the hand back behind. The next time you do it with one hand, just very gently touch the other hand and give that a stretch. Other side, pulling in and stretch. We're going to do something similar. Dangle the fingers, take your hand around, and as I'm pulling outwards, I'm going to drop my other elbow in as I lift my heel, the back of the hand, towards my chin. So I'm going down, and I'm making space with my fingers. This is an Aikido stretch. So I'm pulling and reaching up. Other hand. Pulling and reaching. Pulling and reaching. Making space and moving it up. Okay. Next, I'm going to call these the hitchhiker circles. You just circle your thumb around. We want to keep these joints mobile. They are joints that tend to get more arthritic as we age. The one that we wear out the cartilage, but the more that we keep them moving and keep the muscles flexible, the happier it will be. You don't want to do it so much that it irritates it, but again, daily movement, super important. Next, I'm going to call this the Namaste pendulum. So you have your hands in Namaste, and you move that from side to side. Wrestling wrists loose, and then wrestle with each other. So they're pulling against each other. Loose, and then wrestle. Wrestling with affection. And again, loose. Just loosening up the wrists, and then wrestling. I'm going to take the hands like we're holding on some dice, and we're just going to shake the dice. And then you can do the other clasp, shake the dice. The next is the glove, like I'm putting on a glove. I'm going to pull all the skin and the fascia down, and then I'm going to hold my wrist, and I'm going to move my hand around so that it stretches all the tissue around the hand. Do the glove on the other side. You might need to capture the glove a couple of times to really get a good pull on it. Let's do the glove again. First side. Okay, and then second side. The next is a twist. So I'm going to grab my forearm and I'm going to squeeze it and roll as I'm rotating my arm the opposite direction. So I'm rotating my forearm and I'm getting a little squeeze. And you don't want to be too lotioned up or anything when you do this because you actually want to get a good grip in there. Other side. I know that you do have to grip with that side when you're doing it. So we're just giving our hands some love. Again, the more we move our hands and keep them active, not only good for the health of our hands, but there's studies that talk about the connection between our hands and our brain. So the more soft and articulate our hands are, it actually works with the plasticity of the brain. Okay, next I'm going to call this one the forearm roll. And if you're near a table or you could put your hand on your leg, you use your forearm. You can even use your elbow between the bones to get just some deep tissue massage. So I'm leaning in with one arm and I'm just squishing all of the muscles in my forearm with the other. So do that both sides so that we want to keep these muscles soft because that's what drives the hands. So often when there's stiffness in the hands, it's coming from muscles up here, like it's called the brachioradialis, these muscles up there. So because we don't want to use our hands too much to rub them, we can use the forearm. Okay. So the next things we'll go to are things that we do from the hands and knees position. Though you could do the wrist push-ups against a wall. So that would be being against a wall like this, and then we're going to come up with the heel of the hand. So you'll find your way to hands and knees. And there's a few things I want to talk about here. The first is I'm just going to call this kitty cat pause. So we're just turning the hands in all these directions. I have a friend that calls it the kitty cat pause, and I like that. So the weight shifts from side to side. You might find some positions are less comfortable, but it's really important to keep the wrist ability to flex like this. This is very important for getting, into and out of the floor. It's a position that we want to maintain. Next, we'll do these wrist flexion, I call them my wrist push-ups. So you keep the thumb off and you take the weight onto the base of your fingers. So it's common for sometimes to go, oh, my wrist doesn't, the heel of my hand doesn't lift very far. So you're not coming up onto the fingers, but you're lifting up, looking to bring the wrist as high as you can on each hand. So I can make this more challenging. So I'm using these muscles. The more I lean forward, so my shoulders are over my wrists. Let's do just a few more, lifting up and slowly coming down. So I'm making those muscles work. That's the strength of the hand. There are, of course, other exercises you can do with your hands with putty and with hand exercises. I'm showing you mostly things that help to open up the tissues. Those are more about grip strength, which is also super important. Turn your hands the other way, so one of them's facing back. You're going to bend your elbow and stretch the palm side of the hand, and then back. And do that a couple of times. Stretching the palm side of the hand back. So my hips are going back. I'm leaning a little down and forward, closing the space between my shoulder and my wrist. The other side. So if you do this sequence with me on the video a couple of times, you might then write down or just note which are the things that feel the best. And you make a little sequence for yourself. You probably won't find every single one of these moves to be your favorites. So I'd encourage you, pick 5 or 6 that are your favorites and commit to doing them every day and see how you feel.